fazendo filme.
I'd say the ironic view with documentary is one that is making mischief. And the filmmakers who use it are out to, in most cases, have fun in some way, often at someone else's expense, and the someone else's expense is, in many cases, the more traditional documentary filmmaker. Making fun of Borat, which is so obviously not a documentary, but if you think of it as like one or mocking of documentary, he's having a lot of fun with our idea about strange other cultures, about people who have a journalistic bent to learn and find out things and report on them. So his obsession with, what's her name? Pamela Anderson, and his curiosity about American culture become distorted and perverse twists on what a standard journalist might do, because they're always trying to track down celebrities and interview them, and what is Harrison Ford eating for breakfast, and all that stuff. So yeah, the ironic is a way of having some fun and making some mischief. It's also a way of getting us as viewers to think about what we normally take for granted and what we assume a film is going to be. So when you see Man Bites Dog, the clip I showed, and a man is strangling a woman and then telling us in straight to the camera, like talking to the camera, this is how I get rid of the body and these are the problems. It's very disturbing until you figure out that this is a mockumentary, because you wonder, what are the ethics of this? Why doesn't the camera person do something? Why do they let the man kill somebody? And then you realize it's making fun of the way in which filmmakers often become complicit with their subjects and may be involved in filming and accepting things that are at the boundaries of the law or ethics. So I think the ironic is a larger category than the mockumentary, because it is in literature, it's in theater, it's a lot of different forms, and in everyday conversation you can be ironic or satiric or parody somebody. But the mockumentary is one version of irony, and what I was trying to do is expand that to think of it as more than just fiction films that make fun of documentaries like Zelig and Spinal Tap, which are great films, but I think there's more to it, and that's what we tried to look at. Well, that it's a way when we are trying to figure out what's going on, and with Spinal Tap it's pretty soon obvious. With Zelig it's almost immediately obvious that it's got Woody Allen, it can't be what it seems to be or pretends to be. But when other films where it's not quite as clear, like No Lies or Atomic Cafe, which I didn't show, or Land Without Bread, which is a little more, I think when it was first made, puzzling about why is he telling me things this way. The more to it is partly that it gets us thinking about, not only thinking about what kind of film is it, what kind of message is the message, it gets us thinking about how do we make sense of things. Because my categories and my perceptions aren't adding up. Something's not working here. This isn't what it seems to be. So is it me or is it it? And I think to some degree it makes us wonder about ourselves. Are my categories of perception adequate? Do I really know what the world is made of when I see something from the world that I can't make sense of? So I think, as with that quote from Montaigne in his essays, where je ne me trouve pas où je me cherche. I don't find myself where I seek myself. That's a problem. if you're trying to find yourself and looking and that's not where you are, where are you? You know, and I think that's the sort of deeper, sort of philosophic potential of irony, is it can be very destabilizing to the idea of who am I? How the use of sound has changed, and that there are, I was saying 3, you know, if we had more time I probably would say 4 times when the change was big.